Okay, welcome back everybody. What we got left to do here is create the auxiliary view, which is going to go right about here, right kind of in the middle of these guys. So I'm going to remove that transfer line, get that out of the way, put my construction lines back on, and do a little trimming. So I want these construction lines that are coming off perpendicular to the angled face, but I don't want any of the others, so I'm going to do the trim method where we trim to a line. So TR, enter, and then hit T again, T, enter. I'm going to select this line, and I'm going to select this line, and then I'm going to hit enter, and now I'm going to get rid of all this stuff. Nice, huh? Okay. So now I just need to continue projecting off of this angled face. We already have a lot of the lines. Some of these are the wrong line type. I'll put that back on construction. And this one is definitely the center line, so I think I'll make that center. So we have the center, we have the hole, we have the outside of the cylinder, we have the this corner here. We need a few more things. We need this corner down here. We need the back corner, of course. We need the center of the ellipses and such. So yeah, a few things left to do here. So I am going to copy this construction line. Just copy one of these guys and start clicking away. Click on this guy, click on that corner, click on the center line, and click where the whole center line is as well. We're going to need those too, and their edges. So we got a lot of clicks. Definitely got a lot of clicks in here. A lot going on. And interestingly, the footing here, got to get where the footing intersects. Let me zoom in on that, because I believe I erased one of these. So yeah, this guy here was a different construction line being used for something else. Actually, I can just move it over. I'm not using that anymore. Move it over to there, and then copy one of these guys from there to there, because that footing is going to be shown as well. So I've got lines coming off at the corners of the footing, all from the footing, the edges of the holes of the footing, the center line of the footing. So the footing is well documented here. And of course, the same information on the back. We got a lot of lines. It could get a little confusing. Hopefully we can figure this out. Okay, so I think that is everything. And now I need to create a center line for this stuff here. There are a couple ways I could go about doing this. I'm going to show you a kind of a fun way so I don't have to do any more offsets again. I mean, I could just put a random line in here and do all the offsets, the same offsets that we did here, the same offsets that we did here. But rather than do them all over again, I am going to bend these lines here to be useful in this view. All right, so the same way we did a transfer line to get these horizontal lines into this view, vertically into this view, I can bend them to be useful in this view. So it's another transfer line, but it's a transfer line for an auxiliary view. So the way to do it is to bisect the angle. All right, so bisecting the angle means splitting it in half. So the angled line here is 45 degrees, right? That's kind of the key angle for this face. And in the top view, it's at 90 degrees, right? So if we could put a transfer line right in between those two, that would be perfect. So it's between 45 and 90, right? So that is the angle of the line that we need to make. So what is half of 45? What's the middle of those two? So half of 45 is 22 and a half, right? So if you add 22 and a half to 45, you get 20 plus 45 is 65, plus 2 would be 67 and a half, so 67 and a half. So if I go to XL, enter, right? A, enter 67.5. I don't know, is my AutoCAD working? There we go. That should be the bisecting angle right there. And I could put it anywhere, maybe here. I didn't mean to put it there. Something like that. So that angle is splitting these in half, basically. And I can confirm that, and I'm gonna confirm that. So I'm gonna take my angled measure, and I'm gonna say the angle between this line and this line. And you know, it doesn't, silly thing about AutoCAD, it does not measure infinite lines. So if you are going to measure a construction line, you have to trim it off somewhere, like I've just done. So now it should work. So I'm going to measure between this line and this line. Oh my gosh, it's still not happy. Just to show you I'm not a liar, look at this. If I trim off this infinite line here on both sides, there it is. Now I should be able to do an angled measure to it. Yeah. And the same thing with this construction line here. That's that one I wanted to use, but it's not going to work either because it's going on forever. So check this out. I'm going to have to trim these off, which is no problem. Now it'll work. Get my angled measure and confirm that that is the same angle. There we go. It is, just so you know, it is rounding upward because AutoCAD, because we have in our dimension style to round to the nearest whole degree, but it should actually be 23.5. If you were really wanting to check that out, you could go to Manage Dimension Style and primary units, angular dimension, here they are, and say 0.0 as precision. And there you would see it as 22.5 degrees. So there you go. They are the same. That is a truly, that angle is definitely, that line is definitely bisecting this angle. And now I could transfer all this stuff. So again, I know it was kind of a long way to get to here, but the angle of this line, this transfer line, is 67.5. That's what you need to know. It's 67.5, and I am going to move it from here to here to this corner. That'll make things easier. And I'm going to bend all this stuff. So check this out. I need to extend all these lines to it. So extend EX, enter, and I'm going to click on that line, enter, and so just extend all the construction lines to it. And you might have to hit it again because those other ones are getting in the way. Or you could just stretch them out to it. If it's giving you a hard time, just grab the endpoints and stretch it. Stretch those things out, or redraw them, whatever. But extend should work. EX, enter, and just click on it, and it extends to the nearest thing. It might be that I'm not zoomed in enough here. Let me zoom in a little tighter. So EX, enter, and that extends. So I think I've got them all. That guy needs to be extended as a construction line, so I'll just copy those or go to my construction layer and do that. And I think I'm going to remove these angled lines, so because they're kind of in the way. Kind of distracting. Okay. Okay. So I know that that was a little bit of a headache, and I'm sorry. It's more of an educational thing than a useful thing. Probably would have been faster just to have done a perpendicular line and do the offsets, to be honest. But I want to show you how this works, because in the future, this might be even more useful than you realize now. So I'm going to connect these lines here from here. So construction line XL, enter, and I'm going to click on any one of those and then make it go perpendicular to this line for sure. We want to snap perpendicular. There it is, snapping perpendicular. Bam. Okay. And then I'm just going to copy it from this point to the rest of these. So could you have just made a perpendicular line and then done all the offsets? Absolutely. But that worked out too. Okay. I'm going to zoom out just a smidge. And I know it's getting messy. I think we got everything we need. If you want, you could trim these to that line. That might make these things more simple. I think I'm going to do that. So T, R, enter, and then T again. Click on this line, and then just get rid of all these things that we just made. There we go. That simplifies things quite a bit. I'm going to keep doing that. Just clean this place up. Okay. There you go. And some of these we could just get rid of altogether. I'm not even sure where they came from. Okay, so I think that's making a lot of sense now. Hopefully that does make sense for you. These lines that were coming in here, we just bent them at a 22.5-degree angle, bam, and that is what we need. We bisected this angle, and that has created all the grid that we need for this auxiliary view. Okay, so now it should be pretty straightforward. I'm going to zoom in a little tighter, and we'll get on this. Going to my object layer, I'm going to start out with the ellipse. So this center line, this marks the center of everything, right? So I got the center here, and coming out to the edges of the hole there, and then the edges of the hole here. Boom. You know what? That's funny because I did not mean to use the ellipse tool. I meant to use the circle tool, which shouldn't make any difference because, again, we're coming out to the edges. That's the whole point of drawing this view, is that the hole actually looks like a hole in this view. So you don't need to use the ellipse tool. This is the one face where you don't need to do that. Okay, so going pretty well here. Trim these guys away. Okay, and then continue on. So I'm drawing that's the face of this base right here. That's this face right here. And then from there we go up to here, right? Do you remember there's a fillet here? So I'm going to do a little fillet in here, make a little sacrificial line for you. And F, enter. Let me zoom in on that. Having a little trouble. The truth is this fillet is not perfectly accurate because it is round, and remember the truth of the matter is that it should be an ellipse, but it's so small it's not worth fussing with. Okay, but we'll just let that slide. Okay, so the next thing in question, yeah, this corner is also going to be filleted. All right, so we'll get those. And then it goes to this back edge here. So I'm doing the footing to the back edge all the way to here. So it's hard to believe, but this thing is at such an angle right now. It goes all the way back. Follow that line to that back corner. And that is this one here. Right, let me change the color so it stands out for you. And I'll just make it yellow so you can see what I'm talking about. That is the back edge of that footing. Hard to believe. All right, and it is also going to be filleted. So don't forget to do that. Do that right now. I remember what those were for. Wow, I may have gotten a little close on the back. We'll see how close I get. Coming out of that corner is going to be, the back of this thing is going to be touching this. That's all right. Well, we can move it. Okay, so the footing is looking decent. We need to put the holes. So the holes on the footing are definitely going to be showing up as ellipses. And there's a center line coming out of the center line. You can see it. And of course, these are the center lines for them as well, right here. And those are all center lines. So that's the center lines of the holes for the ellipse. You can see their edges here. So they're getting squished along this axis, and this axis, they are standard size, okay? So we can offset the center line, their standard size, and I should say their true size. And their true size is a 1/2 inch, so I will do that. And I could have projected that off here. I guess we just didn't have those construction lines on this anymore. Anyway, O, enter, 0.5, enter, and we'll bump those, we'll offset. Whoops, God, what is that? Sorry, O, enter, 0.5, enter. And sorry, those holes are 1/2 inch diameter, so the offset is 0.25. My mistake. There we go, 1/4 inch offset. And so that is going to be the width of the ellipse, and then which is true size, and then the height of the ellipse is coming off of our front view here, right? So it's being projected off our front view. Let's create that ellipse. So there's the center right there, and then edge and edge. Okay? So we can do the same thing over here, or we could just copy it, and I think I'm just going to copy it. Copy this guy from here to there. Okay. And yeah, looking good. I think I'll put those center lines back to construction just so we're not so confused here. Okay. So we got the front face, we got the angled face, we got the footings. The last thing we need to show, which isn't going to be very visible, is going to be this the back thing, right? This slot on the back. So how far back does that go? It goes back to this construction line all the way over here. And I'm going to make that guy a different color so he pops out. And I'll just say maybe make him green. And that is how far back he goes, all the way to here. A little behind my transfer line, which is fine. It got squished in there. I'll eventually delete this thing. In fact, I could do that right now just to get it out of the way. I think I will. So the width of this goes to there. Let's draw that. I'm going to get my object line and just make that square. So coming out here all the way to this line, perpendicular to it. I don't think that's snapped perpendicular. There we go. And then I'll do the same on the other side, or I could just mirror it. Snapping perpendicular, there we go. And then I could connect them with this line segment. So that is the basic outside of the back. Of course, we know it has these fillets on there, and it has the slot. The slot depth is to this line right here. And maybe I'll make that a different color, make that one green as well. So there you have the slot width and depth. Let me outline those in object lines. So there is its size right there. Snap, I want to make sure I'm snapping to perpendicular here, not nearest. Okay. So that's its basic shape. I trim this stuff away. And then I can, here's the thing. You start filleting these corners and just every corner, and you begin to realize that you're cheating. You know, I'm fine with you guys doing these corners here because they're small. Like I said, these guys, they're just 1/8 of an inch, so you know, what's the big deal, right? But the hole in here, we definitely got to do as an ellipse. Okay, so we have its width is true size, but it's getting squished, and it's getting squished from again, from its center here to its edge, and there it is, the center to the edge, and that is its center. I'll mark that as a center line. Okay, so, and its edge was here, so let's see what that looks like as an ellipse. Click on the center edge, and that center is not right. Huh. I must have got confused here. Let me redo that one. M, enter, copy. C-O, enter, copy this center line. There it is, from its edge to its center. Yeah, I picked the wrong one. Okay, no big whoop. I'll just move that real quick here, from there to there. Perfect. Okay. So that is the center, that is the edge. Go into my ellipse tool, click on the center point, and click on the two edges. There they are. All right, I'll zoom in on that. And you can see what's up. And try that. I think this line messed up with this line. Let me mirror that other one. Nothing wrong with mirroring here. There we go. Trim those out. Trim these out. Okay, I'm going to turn off my construction lines, zoom out a little bit. You can see what's going on here. Pretty funky, that's for sure. I know, it's hard to grasp what this looks like, but anyway, this face right here, the cylinder's face, is the only one that's true size. So this is the hard one. Everything else is foreshortened, and it's being projected off of this front view. All these dimensions, all these values came from here. And yeah, that's the deal. While I have you here, I did want to correct an error that I made in this view right here. This line, I should have trimmed this away. I'm not sure why I didn't, but yeah, I needed to do that. And so check this out. See where this ellipse comes and makes contact with the surface? There it is. I'm going to bring this line down and show you that that is my trim line. There it is, and it should be right on center. There it is. Yeah, it is. So basically, I need to trim to this center line here. So watch this. This is what I wanted you guys to do, what I should have done. Just get rid of that. And rather than this line ending with just a line segment like that, I'll zoom in. It should have a run out on it. It should have the same, see this fillet here? Remember, it should have something like that, but it's only like half that size. I'm just going to copy this one here from its endpoint and move it to roughly there, because that's about what it would be. And then trim this little piece away right there. And if you want to shrink this and make it a little bit smaller to be a little more accurate, that's what you would do, okay? So that is what that really should look like. So sorry about that. And just to make that clear, that's just showing this edge right here as it wraps around and connects right over here. But in this area right here, that's just all flat. There's no edge. Okay. So with this auxiliary view, I am not showing any hidden lines, and I'm not going to. If you wanted to show hidden lines, there would be a ton of them, because the entire back edge, all the back edge is there. So there would be a line for every one of these lines. There would be another hidden line, which is confusing to say the least, you know, and really, in my opinion, not necessary. But if you wanted to do that, you could. It would be a wild ride. Can you see any of the hole? You know, check this out. I'm going to put on my construction lines and I wonder, can you see any of the edge of this hole? And this is what I'm talking about. I'm going to just copy another construction line here, just random, and click it on the back edge of this hole. All right, there it is. Just to show you what the hidden line would look like. So that's the back edge. So if I was going to copy this guy and do him as a hidden line, he would be like this, from here to there. And then he would be hidden. And you would connect it with lines like this. That should be hidden. Sorry. I'm going to turn off my construction lines now and show you what I'm talking about. So this is what you would be doing. You would be doing this all over the place. And honestly, I don't feel that is necessary. We've done it. We've already shown the hidden lines in all these other views. And really the purpose of the auxiliary view, which is this view here, is to be able to dimension that surface, the flat surface, the angled surface. That's its purpose. Not to show off your your hidden line skills, but you know, it would just be too much. Honestly, it's already a bit much. Just showing this one up here and showing it over here is a little bit much. It is good practice, but showing all of those in this auxiliary view, honestly, I think would be a bit much. So that is going to do it.